Today, Marcus Hatton leads St. John's into a major Big East battle, but waiting for him will be Georgetown's great power forward, Mike Sweetney. Big East basketball is next. Welcome to the nation's capital, where Georgetown and St. John's are ready to renew one of basketball's greatest rivalries. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Crickey with Bucky Waters. This is the time of year when every team is looking to build a resume of quality wins to impress the NCAA selection committee down the line. This is a most important game for both St. John's and Georgetown, and the game features, Bucky, two of the best players in the country.
Well, in the Big East territory, they're known as Mr. Inside and Mr. Outside. Mr. Inside is Mike Sweetney. The big fella has dancer's feet, Velcro hands. He's #1 in conference scoring, over 28. He's also first in rebounds. He's the reigning Big East Player of the Week, but he's got to stay out of foul trouble. Marcus Hatton at 6'1" is a jet. He's not a shooter. He's a scorer. He scores from everywhere, averaging at 28.3. He is also second in steals, over 3 a game. He invents ways to score.
Here's a look in conference play, Bucky. Both very impressive.
Yes, indeed, and it doesn't include the rebounding and steals by these two guys. Clearly, they are the catalyst for their teams.
Believe it or not, St. John's and Georgetown have been playing basketball for almost 100 years. Their first game was back in 1909. This is the 80th meeting between the Red Storm and the Hoyas. The lineups and the tip-off are next.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, young man's head, young man's head? Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
Ravioli that tastes like pepperoni pizza. That's what you get with new pepperoni pizzazzaroli. It's positively pizza-rific. Thank goodness. Try new cheesy burger too.
I think this is the one. It's beautiful.
So, you're going to wear white after all. Just kidding, you crazy chick. Weddings are great, and they get better every time.
Who is that? Vegas.
That's right, baby. Round up the girls, kick up your heels, and party like you still got Daddy's credit card. My lips are sealed. Hello? Mama's got a hobby. Oh, boy.
Visit your local BMW center for a test drive.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
Game is being brought to you by Dodge. Dodge, grab life by the horns. By ConAgra Foods, we set America's table at home and away. And by Guinness Draft Stout, enjoyed responsibly the world over. And welcome back into the MCI Center. lights are out as the introductions are being made. St. John's coming into the game with a record overall of 8-5, 1-2 in Big East play. Red Storm had a dramatic and impressive win a week ago at Los Angeles, beating UCLA by 15, but then fell during the week. In conference play, as we look at the starting lineups, Ingram and Hatton in the back line for the Red Storm, King, Glover, and Kopp up front. Bethel, a sophomore, will start at the point guard. Riley, the best defender, he gets Hatton for Georgetown in the back line. Bowman, a freshman, Sweetney, and big Wesley Wilson up front.
Sweetney, clearly the franchise. He has got to stay out of foul trouble. In the losses that the Hoyas have had, he's played limited minutes. One of their great performances against Duke and Cameron, he only got about 21 minutes of actual playing time. Had he stayed in the game, the Blue Devils would have had a lot tougher time getting out of Cameron with a W. There's a big fella.
What a player. He has started every game of his career here at Georgetown. Junior Mike Sweetney from Oxon Hill, Maryland. One of the Big East leaders in scoring, rebounding, block shots, field goal percentage. It's 54% from the field. He's lost 20 pounds since last year, but he's still big at 6'8", 260.
He lost 50 right out his freshman year. I mean, he was huge when he came here. Give credit to the Georgetown program and, of course, to his personal discipline.
A player that Craig Esherick of Georgetown is concerned about is freshman guard Elijah Ingram of St. John's. The first-year player out of St. Anthony's High School in Jersey City. His team number 2 in America last year in the rankings at 29-1. And there are 2 players on Georgetown who played on the number 1 team, Westchester High, in the Los Angeles area, including a starting forward in Brandon Bowman.
St. John's has a tough time scoring. This guy was supposed to put a lot of punch on the offensive side of the ledger. And coaches think about these things. Craig Esherick knows he was 0 for 5 from 3 from his last outing, and he still averages over 40% from 3. So percentage says the little guy should have a good day.
And as you know, Bucky, both these teams in losing during the week shot very poorly from the arc. St. John's hit just 5 of 23 as the Red Storm starts with the ball in a loss on Wednesday night to Villanova. And Georgetown, losing at Seton Hall, shot only 2 of 20 from three-point range.
The Hoyas in a man-for-man, just guarding the three-point line. Nothing fancy, nothing in the gaps. St. John's usually has a hard time scoring in the half court.
Kyle Kopp dishes over to Glover, who's been coming on more and more as an offensive player for the Red Storm. And Glover is rejected down low. Going up to send it back with Brandon Bowman, the freshman. Now the Red Storm follows it up and takes a 2-0 lead.
Return to sender. Boy, the rookie timed that one just right.
Eric King getting the first bucket of the game. Now a loop down low. Mashing hard is Wesley Wilson. Rebound back to Mike Sweetney. Big guy goes back up, and he is fouled. The officials today, Tim Higgins, Fran Connolly, and Joe Lindsay.
Like a wrecking ball down inside. St. John's, who is undersized in the front court, and Sweetney gets a lot of double coverage. So Wesley Wilson at 6'10", 260, having his way in there.
And Sweetney heading to the free throw line, shooting close to 70% free throws. Mike Sweetney, returning all Big East player. And there are actually 4 starters back on this Georgetown team from a club that went 19-11 last year.
And we talk about how many freshmen are in the league. Pitt is the only team in the Big East that does not start a freshman. That's a pretty remarkable stat.
And the guard combinations in the Big East, without question, the best of any conference in the country from top to bottom. It's unbelievable the backcourt alignments in this league.
Yeah, we got some good ones here today. Now, after the make, the Hoyas in down court, three-quarter court pressure. I think most of it to get the ball out of Hatton's hands.
Hatton was the number 1 key in the game plan of Craig Esherick. We have to defend him. Now the ball is tapped inside court. Bethel saves it. Here comes Foreman. Long lead pass to big Mike Sweetney. Can't get it on the inside shot. Here comes the Red Storm. Ingram dishing, and Kyle Kopp comes from off the wing and slams it down, and the Red Storm takes a 4-2 lead.
Both these teams like to run, but for St. John's, it's imperative. With the inside and the front line strength of the Hoyas, they really, really have to get some transition baskets. St. John's, Don St. John's starting in that 2-3 zone, trying to give some help inside. Boy, does he draw a crowd or what?
Yeah, he's got 3 guys when you go down in the post to him. The big Mike Sweetney. Good movement in the St. John's defense, doubling up well on the ball, forcing a throwaway and a turnover. And it's back now to the Red Storm as we look at Mike Jarvis, the head coach of the Red Storm, now in his 5th year at the helm of the St. John's program. 66% wins.
Looking for win number 350 today.
As he spent 5 years in Boston as a coach there at Boston University, then was 8 years here in Washington at George Washington.
He's a homeboy here. Interestingly, too, he's 4-0 against the Hoyas and 2-0 in this building.
Elijah Ingram shaken up there as he was hit hard. Travel violation called. Ingram took a shot in the mouth, staying in the game.
And he ran into Brandon Bowman, another freshman. There were 2 other guys in there he could have hit. He might not be getting up.
Grady Reynolds now in the game for St. John's. Again, they try to loop it low, and they do it beautifully as the ball is down low to Brandon Bowman, the freshman from Santa Monica, California. And the game is tied up at 4.
Great pass by Tony Bethel. Great pass. When you don't pressure that ball and you've got good guards, they'll find creases in the zone.
Now Kyle Kopp shoots long range. And the offensive rebound to Grady Reynolds.
The long rebounds help St. John's. Again, if it comes off short, the size of Georgetown, a huge factor. But once they carry them out there 15, 20 feet, it puts the premium on quickness.
Let's watch that alley-oop again here, Bucky.
Perfect timing. We talked about Sweetney's pause, but it's Bowman coming down the baseline. The freshman at 6'8" from California, silky smooth. And Tony Bethel puts it right on the money. Just nobody saw him coming down the back of the baseline. Zone is not St. John's best defense, Don, but when you're facing an inside force like Mike Sweetney, you really need to do some things to adjust.
Greg Esherick in his 5th year as the coach of the Hoyas, his 4th full season, took over at midseason when John Thompson stepped down. Bethel with the ball gets it out to Bowman, and here is almost a steal by Marcus Hatton. Riley, the Hoyas' best defender, knows he's a good passer, gets it down low to Wesley Wilson. They need this big guy at 6'11" to score, averaging just under 7 points a game.
The big Californian prepped at Maine Central, as a lot of fine players in the Big East have, coming here to do an internship, if you will. I guess when you come from California, one of the things you have to do is get ready for the weather.
I tell you, it's even rough here in the nation's capital. Temperature in the teens last night with wind.
Tim Higgins was funny today. One of the officials today also worked the St. John's game at UCLA last weekend, and he flew all day, one day, and ended up at a game at Notre Dame in a foot of snow. His little thermometer was quivering. That's quite an adjustment. But Timmy's seen him come and go. Another steal.
Well, a foot of snow in South Bend is not an upset. You will get that. Now a follow-up put back, and this Bowman, Brandon Bowman, gets the bucket. He'll go to the free throw line. The 6'8" freshman. Greg Esherick said he's the only player we've ever recruited who has grown since he's shown up on campus. He said, that in my mind, said Esherick, is good coaching.
Well, the defense on the first shot was pretty good, but it's just an avalanche of white jerseys. It's Mike Jarvis' worst nightmare, trying to limit the superior size and strength of the Hoyas to one shot. Now the Hoyas full court pressure. They've shown 3 different presses so far, and it's given St. John's trouble. Again, mostly to get the ball out of Marcus Hatton's hand. They're not nearly as effective with anybody else driving it.
He's the prime mover of this St. John's team, Marcus Hatton, averaging 22.5 points a game, and now a blocking foul. And Bowman tries to press another freshman, Elijah Ingram, which is hard to do.
The size of that press up front, though, Bowman at 6'8", really gives Ingram a difficult time going over the top, forcing him to go back, which keeps the press in play.
And Bowman goes out of the game, and the sophomore Darrell Owens comes in for him. St. John's gets the ball down quickly. Apparently, the game plan, Bucky, is to get Cuff some outside shots. If it isn't, he's taking them anyway.
Well, the press is giving those shots in the corner, and I do believe that Greg Estrick will take his chances with Cup from the corner as opposed to Hatton with the ball.
And now there's a call down at that end of the floor as referee Higgins signals a call. I think it's on Mike Sweetney. And both teams well under the limit, so it'll be back inbound for the Red Storm.
Both coaches, Don, going to their bench soon and often with the tempo of this game. A lot of substitutions.
Here comes Willie Shaw in the game, a good outside shooter for the Red Storm. Georgetown really extending this defense, so very aggressive. Bethel defending Hatton now. Hatton, who can create, loses the ball, but down low there's a reject. Up court it goes. Here's sophomore Tony Bethel making the save. And Wisely setting up the offense. Drew Hall in the game with him, his former high school teammate, and Bethel fires. Rebound slapped over to Hatton. Georgetown gets back down court and stops the break. Elijah Ingram.
St. John's fans glad to see that one after going 0 for 5 in a heartbreaking loss to the Wildcats of Villanova in the world's most famous arena. The little guy from St. Anthony's was 0 for 5, and they really needed him. Both teams shot so poorly from the free throw line in that game. But Villanova did make their last 13 to come out with a W.
Yeah, Villanova, you got to watch them. Nobody gave them a lot of attention before the season, but the Wildcats are off to a 3-0 start in the conference. Their best in a long time. They've never been 4-0 to start a season.
They've got some good young players, and they got beat up a little bit in the pre-conference play, but truly, with the way they rebounded, 50-31, they beat St. John's off the board.
And now to the free throw line goes Mike Sweetney, who not only has started every game of his career at Georgetown, he's rarely out of the game. He puts in major minutes. He carries his team on his broad shoulders, and they fully expect him to be back despite his great credentials for his senior year. His number one objective, he says, coming to Georgetown is to graduate. Now with 14:52 to play in the first half, and the Hoyas in the lead 11-7, there's a timeout on the floor. We'll be back to the MCI Arena in a moment.
Introducing the 7-Up Parade Balloon. It's going to make people want the refreshing taste of 7-Up. And it's completely realistic. I even gave it a pull tab. Whoa! Someone must have shook the can!
2 amps to lights, please.
Amstel Light, official beer of the Ski Lodge. At Amstel, we don't object to other light beers. They do serve some purpose. Always satisfying, never watered down. Amstel Light, the beer drinker's light beer.
Now let's take a moment to thank our corporate sponsor, Cooper Tire. Proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. Don Crickey with Bucky Waters. MCI Arena, Washington, D.C. Georgetown, trailing early, has now gone out to an 11-7 lead over St. John's in the 80th meeting of these longtime rivals. A rivalry that dates back to 1909.
Look at this. St. John's 3 for 11, only 27%, but of the 8 missed shots, they have 5 offensive rebounds. Partly, as we mentioned earlier, they're being forced to shoot from outside. The rebounds are long.
They've been launching long, looking to hit from the arc. Both these teams, we mentioned, struggling mightily in their last games. The Red Storm coming off an 82-73 loss to Villanova on Wednesday night. And they shot 5 of 20 3-point shots. Now Marcus Hatton fires. Not enough there. Rebound to Sweetney. Here come the Hoyas.
St. John's just standing against that zone and firing long.
Major collisions down low. Ball put back up and down to Sweetney with the left hand. Guides it down, and the Hoyas now take a 13-7 lead, their biggest advantage, and Sweetney is off with a 6-point early gain.
Georgetown 7 for 7 from the foul line. That's the difference in the game. And it looks like the Hoyas are playing so much stronger and better. The scoreboard belies that fact.
Both teams going to their bench here, Bucky, rather often early in the game. Portland Freeman now in the game for Georgetown. Drew Hall with the ball in the backcourt. Kristen Smith is in for St. John's.
Georgetown able to get into that paint at will, either with the post pass or the dribble penetration. St. John's just having a hard time matching up with the bodies.
Drew Hall with the last pass. He gets his first 2 points of the game, and now Grady Reynolds is fouled hard by Sweetney down low. A good foul, but it is the second on Mike Sweetney. So the most important player on Georgetown with an early problem, fouls.
Against the zone again, no pressure on the ball. Watch this pass right down underneath. Grady Reynolds takes it up strong and is fouled by number 34, Mike Sweetney. Sweetney makes so many little touchy fouls in and around the lane. It gets him in trouble. If I had a guy that big as a center, I'd say, look, the first foul in the first 8 minutes or so, the first guy that comes through that paint, you label him good. Make him get up, shake his head, and shoot the free throw. Let him know there's a price to pay coming through that lane. That's the big guy's license. But those little touchy fouls don't accomplish anything except get your big fella sitting down on foul.
And that is what Sweetney's doing now with 2 personal fouls on the bench. And here's a violation called on Georgetown. The ball comes back over to the Red Storm. There's big Mike Sweetney from Oxon Hill, Maryland. Wilson gets his first personal foul for the Hoyas.
Good shot. A very passionate Craig Esherick there.
Well, Craig stepped up after the game when he thought his guy got beat up, this big guy, and wasn't enough fouls called. And I think he really stepped out of, people in Georgetown know who he is, but nationally now they know who Craig Esherick is. He's not just some distinguished-looking guy walking up the sidelines who shoes of John Thompson. He's a major personality also.
Great hang time there by Marcus Hatton. He invents ways to score. It's almost a 3-second call. He goes up in the air, watch. Waits for all the trees to go down. That's a 3-second violation. He was up in the air longer than 3 seconds. Great body balance. Knows where the ball is. He was not recruited by Georgetown. This is his first opportunity to play against the Hoyas, and he's from right down the road here in Baltimore. And I asked him before the game, how do you feel about that? I wasn't thrilled. So, with his first chance at the Hoyas, he's going to try and make it special.
He has a great time playing, Bucky. He loves to practice. He loves to warm up. He loves to play. Marcus Hatton, and he is a guy that is just about indefensible. You cannot stop this guy. As Mike Jarvis told us, the only way that anybody stops Marcus Hatton is when he himself does it.
Well, he's having a real tough time from 3 right now. In the conference, in conference play, he is only shooting like 20%, and he's only like 25% overall. So without that 3-point shot, it's really difficult for him to do what he does best, which is slice and drive and slash and create. But he does it anyway.
Well, he's putting up numbers. He scored 107 points in his last 4 games. That's almost 27 points a game. And he's on target again, Marcus Hatton. I asked him, Bucky, before the game, what's the most you ever scored in a high school game over in Baltimore? What do you think it was?
45, 50?
41. I thought it would be more. I thought that would be a good half for him on the right day.
He's only 6'1", but he maxes it.
Now down low, Tristan Smith puts the ball up. Rebounded our working man, Anthony Glover, who's becoming more and more of an offensive force for the Red Storm, averaging now over 12 points a game. And a quick trip to the other end results in a player possession call.
How's that for a turnaround? A tough offensive board on one end, takes the charge on the other. He was our Dodge tough player last week, and there's a good example of how hard this guy plays at both ends.
And the Red Storm on a 7-0 run is back to within one.
Check it out. Introducing the all-new Ram Heavy Duty. Ram Heavy Duty. Enough muscle to grab Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year award.
Mark and Karen have twins. They use their Discover card because it pays them for the things they buy. So far, they've earned a cashback bonus award of $140. It's money they use to pay for a special night out and an emergency 24-pack. Discover card. Why not get paid for the things you buy anyway?
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
In the nation's capital, Georgetown holding to a 1-point lead over St. John's with 11:49 to go in the first half. See how the series has gone. 80th meeting. Red Storm leading at 46 wins to 33. They didn't play last season.
And that with so many teams in that Big East, it was one of those quirks. That's not Big East basketball unless Georgetown and St. John's play, but last year they didn't. So, as we pointed out, Marcus Hatton is playing against his neighborhood friends for the first time in the second year in his career.
And a nicely done lead pass by Tristan Smith, a sophomore, and he gets it down low for the slam dunk.
Boy, he's been averaging 13 minutes a game, a big increase recently, and it's really helped St. John's.
Off with the basket, gets his second field goal, and look at Marcus Hatton.
That's an 11-0 run for St. John's, and it's 10-0 since Sweetney sat down with 2 fouls. That is a major stat. Thanks, Paul.
Well, you talked about the difficulty when Sweetney gets the ticky-tack fouls, reaching in and had to sit down. And now Brandon Bowman comes back in, a freshman, and they're still holding Sweetney out.
Sweetney only averages 26 minutes a game. And again, I don't want to belabor the point, but a guy with that kind of skill and strength, his fouls ought to really hurt.
Steal by Kopp, lead to Hatton. Red Storm gets it out to Willie Shaw. And Marcus Hatton feeling it. Out to Glover now. He's much more inclined to shoot than he was earlier in his career. And he's been producing points. And here is a lead pass down low to Tristan Smith. And the foul is called on Georgetown, stopping the clock with 10:48 to play, first half.
St. John's getting much more assertive now in the half court. They're hitting the post, kicking out, a lot more movement. Early they were just kind of stymied a bit, just kind of passing it around and throwing up bricks. It helped their offensive rebounding because those long shots were coming out long. Sweetney coming back into the game. A little risk here by Craig Esherick, but certainly he wants to put the coolers on St. John's. They're growing.
St. John's has really got the heaters up as they are now. 18-18 game as the three is knocked down by Tony Bethel. We're coming to you from the MCI Arena. Don Criqui with Bucky Waters. Big East basketball on the air as Marcus Hatton is starting to light it up now. The guy is now good for 9 points today is Marcus Hatton. Last year he was #1 in the Big East Conference in scoring. 22.3 a game, averaging over that this year. He's a senior. Oliver with a rebound. Up to Hatton. Here comes the Red Storm.
Even with Sweetney not in the game, the Hoyas have forgotten about their inside dominance. The guards have been really forcing the play here.
And now they move Hatton out to the point with Elijah Ingram out. Hatton, a very, very good ball handler, very good creator, and does not need much room, as you know, Bucky, to get that shot away, but another miss from the arc. And now apparently Kyle Cuff is going to be called for reaching in to his dismay.
94 feet from the basket. Not a good foul. It wasn't even a good double team. When you're going to put the clamps on down there, you got to get those feet together. Both those guys got to form a tight V, but they just reached, and they paid for it.
And Mike Sweetney comes back in. St. John's outscored Georgetown 13-3 while Sweetney was out. Remember, Georgetown had a 7-point lead, and now all of a sudden the rally by the Red Storm. And now it is a 21-18 lead, St. John's, and Bowman with a trick shot.
Don't try that one in your backyard unless your chiropractor lives next door. Man.
Even he had a little smile on the face coming down, shooting it on the way down.
Had his tonsils checked, had to wait for the defense to go by, and still drilled it. And it was a clothesline, too.
And launches, misses from the arc. Bethel, a very quick guard, a very sound player, Tony Bethel.
6-1, Marcus Hatton gets a reject.
Here comes Ingram back in the game, taking it all the way down, and Elijah Ingram, a McDonald's All-American, a major recruit, a guy that Esherick singled out as the, so you got to worry about Hatton, obviously, but we're concerned about Ingram also. He can score a lot if he gets the shot. And now Sweetney doing what he does best, powering his way inside, banking the shot in, and going to the line.
Greg Esherick, the attorney, appealing to his team. I got the big fella back in there with two. Use them. And they did. Here's the freshman, Brandon Bowman, in the corner, up. Lets Grady Reynolds go by and throws in a frozen rope. Yeah, I smile too, young man. It's all right.
Bowman getting better all the time, a major recruit. And the guy that Esherick said grew since he arrived at Georgetown. Never had a player do that before.
Well, that's good coaching. That's
very good.
Definitely good coaching.
He's up to 6'8". And who knows? Could be looking at a 6'10".
Hatton gets a lot out of his 6'1". What a player. I can't imagine. He accounts, just statistically, Don, for 30% of St. John's offense. But it's more than that. I mean, without him, I just don't know where they'd be. He finds baskets for everybody.
And now a driving shot by Bethel, gets his own rebound, goes up with the big people, and there'll be a foul call as Curtis Johnson in the game. The biggest of the Red Storm players at 7'2", Curtis has really taken off a lot of weight. He was way over 300 last year. He's really trimmed down and getting up and down the floor a lot better. Very, very popular guy with the St. John's fans.
A lot of fans can identify with this guy. You know, he's not a picture of grace and speed or whatever. He's out there with a big heart. He's worked awfully hard to get where he is. He's had several operations on his feet.
He has.
To break his toes or whatever because of his enormous size. So he's paid his dues just to be on the floor. Mike Jarvis said yesterday he might see some time today just because of the girth of that Georgetown front line.
Bethel goes for a steal. Ingram comes away with the ball. Hoyas back up with a 2-point lead. Sweetney with a steal. Lead pass on the fly. Tony Bethel doesn't get it to go, and here comes Tristan Smith the other way for St. John's. Ingram to King.
Hoyas not able to finish on the break. Gotten down inside off the dribble penetration and on the break, and unless it's Sweetney, they just haven't been able to close.
Georgetown, a very aggressive defense, not much inside for the Red Storm, but now Grady Reynolds fires one up from inside the paint, and he ties the game at 25. Reynolds with 3 points. Leading scorers Hatton with 9 for the Red Storm, and Sweetney with 9 for Georgetown.
Georgetown has shown us a 1-3-1 and a 2-3, but look at there, huh? The whole package.
Big Mike Sweetney with 11 of the 27 points the Hoyas have put up as they lead by 2. Ingram, a very confident, skilled player. Gets it outside. Reynolds off the front of the rim. Rebound to the guard, Bethel. Long lead to Sweetney. Kicks it off to Bowman. And a foul will be called. Looks like Bowman was inadvertently tripped as he flashed to the basket.
Reynolds took that jump shot from the top of the key, unaccustomed as he is to being there, and he went barreling down the lane to follow his shot. St. John's was really exposed that time in terms of a Hoya fast break, but they just weren't able to look up and find the open men. There were two of them.
Up-tempo game, Bucky, and see that Craig Escher's ready to put 3 players back in now. Changing alignments, keeping fresh troops in there. Freeman comes back in along with Drew Hall. And also Victor Samnick comes back in.
I like Georgetown's depth. Quick, big. They've always been deep and physical and athletic, but this year, to me at least, it seems they've got more skill on the perimeters. Again, I go back to that Duke game. They just came into Cameron Indoor Stadium and just played lights out.
Yeah, they took the Blue Devils right down to the wire.
Well, they were up 43-41 at the half, and it took an extraordinary second half, like 68% from the floor for the #1 undefeated Blue Devils to prevail.
Duke, the best team you've seen?
Yeah, so far, but it's early. I see these bracket things now, and all who's going to be where and which bracket. It's unbelievable. It's great interest, but it's absurd. A lot of hoops to be played.
Long way to go. Glover's last field goal gives him 4 points for the game. Here comes Ingram the other way for St. John's. Firing. And he missed it all, and Bowman comes up with the ball. Fast-paced game. Both teams trying to beat the defenders down the floor. Cortland Freeman can't get it to work.
Sweetney is on the bench again.
Some of these shots, not things of beauty. And the ball will come inbounds to Georgetown with 5:57 to play in the first half, and the Hoyas holding to a 1-point lead.
Healthy Choice introduces everything you love about a grilled meal without the grill. New Healthy Choice mixed grills. Tender chunks of grilled chicken with seared-in flavor, tangy barbecue dipping sauce, and crisp vegetables. A delicious way to eat healthy. Real food and plenty of it.
Just the way I like it. Grilled.
6 new mixed grills from Healthy Choice.
Hey! That thing got a Hemi? Yeah. Sweet.
The all-new Dodge Ram Heavy Duty.
Did you mean the Charger? Because, you know, that's got a Hemi, too.
Now with a 345 horsepower, 5.7-liter Hemi Magnum. Ram Heavy Duty. Enough muscle to grab Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year award.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, young man's head, young man's head, young man's head. Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
St. John's and Georgetown, a 1-point lead for the Hoyas, 28-27. And now let's take a look at the ConAgra Foods Big East standings.
Well, you mentioned Villanova, the surprise. Connecticut was picked #1 by a knockout vote in the preseason. St. John's in 4th spot, just where they were rated in the preseason. Boston College slipped down there. They were picked #2. And looking at the West, well, no surprise. Pittsburgh up there on top. Georgetown, yeah, those are the top 4 teams, and they haven't gotten to each other yet.
Yeah, with these overall records, this would be a case to be made for as many as 7 Big East teams to go to the tournament.
Well, I feel pretty good about 6. I think 7 may be a stretch. The real surprise to me so far is West Virginia. John Beeline just doing a remarkable job coming in there late, as he did with the Mountaineers, and they took the Hoyas to overtime there in Morgantown just a short while back.
If the Mountaineers could shoot free throws, Bucky, they might be about unbeaten. Not good from the free throw line. Here's a drive by Drew Hall. And a whistle by Fran Connolly stops play with 5:25 to go in the first half.
Mike Jarvis yet to lose to the Hoyas.
One of the reasons Notre Dame is doing so well, they're so good from the free throw line, 75% as a team.
When you get in a close game, and inevitably the team that makes the most free throws is going to be the winner. Percentage is very high in that regard. In addition to that, what people don't understand is that it puts your opponent's key players either playing tentatively or on the bench as a result of accumulating fouls.
Speaking of high percentage free throws, Bucky, that Drew Hall hit those two. He's over 90% for the season free throw shooting.
He's got to get to the line more often. Boy, I hate to see a guy with those kind of stats and he, doesn't even average maybe one free throw a game. If you can shoot free throws like that, you got to put it on the floor and take it in there.
Free throws have been what's given Georgetown their lead. They are 13 of 14 from the line of the Hoyas. St. John's has shot only 4 and has made 1. So a 12-point advantage for Georgetown from the free throw line. Now let's take a look at our Ameritrade scoreboard. It is a day of big games. Pittsburgh are leading Syracuse in the first half by 4 at Pitt. Miami with an early 4-point lead over the Pirates of Seton Hall. We'll look at some more scores in a moment, as right now Marcus Hatton works on the outside. They're switching. Everybody's getting a shot at trying to slow down Marcus Hatton. Here's Grady Reynolds with the rebound. What play by Reynolds, misses the inside shot, and then with a right-hand tip, he puts it in. It's a 1-point game, Georgetown.
Well, the Hoyas are playing a jump defense, trying to keep a man on Hatton and a man on Ingram, and it's leaving some checkoff holes getting to that offensive board. St. John's is taking advantage of it.
Take a look at some more Ameritrade scoreboard numbers as Louisville leads Texas Christian Bobby Knight and the Red Raiders of Texas Tech holding to a 4-point lead over Baylor. Later start nearby, Duke against Maryland. Missouri plays Oklahoma State. Notre Dame, a tough one today, going into Lexington to play Kentucky and Connecticut and North Carolina. Last year, the Huskies blew out the Tar Heels by 32.
And 5 of the next 7 games for the Huskies are on the road. Big game for them.
Providence at Virginia Tech tonight. And here is the free throw by the freshman Bowman as St. John's continues to see Georgetown march to the line and put up numbers. 15 of 16 from the free throw line for Georgetown, and a big rebound for Victor Samnick.
Boy, that was aerial combat above the rim, and the Hoyas won it.
St. John's doing a good job, Bucky, doubling up on the ball, but apparently somebody stepped on the baseline of the court on the drive, and it turns over to the Red Storm.
With a chance to press on a dead ball, Hoyas electing not to do it. Georgetown really doesn't have an identity without Mike Sweetney in there. And that doesn't make anybody a bad person or a bad coach. He's just such a dominant player. And he just, as I said, gets only 26 minutes a game because of prevalent foul problems.
Ingram fires, doesn't go. A lot of people get a hand on it. Hatton comes away with it. 3:50 to go in the half. King driving, and he is fouled as he goes into the paint. And that stops the clock with 3:44 to go.
One big difference when the Hoyas go zone, first of all, they're not as aggressive. They're just not. And the second shots, the checkoffs, putting the body on people on that first shot, not happening for the Hoyas. And the quicker Red Storm getting on that glass and now beginning to get to the line. They're getting inside off the offensive board where it was difficult for them to do off dribble penetration or passing into the post. St. John's really doesn't have a post presence.
Last foul on Bethel was the 9th team foul of the half. St. John's already has 10 team fouls, so the Hoyas will be shooting 2 on every foul. With a break in the action, it's Hoyas by 1.
Check it out.
Introducing the all-new Ram Heavy Duty. Ram Ram Heavy Duty. Enough muscle to grab Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year award.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
I hope somebody has a pair of shades because I'm about to be on a moment in the spotlight.
Jamie gets his big break.
Hey there, pretty lady.
He's gonna be a big star.
I just got a deal with Beatdown Rick.
But his big deal
They won. They done.
Then they screwed us.
is a big mistake.
If your album goes double platinum, all we'll be able to afford is a double cheeseburger.
Tomorrow at 7:30, only on UPN 9.
Don Criqui with Bucky Waters back at the MCI Center. St. John's trailing by 1. Georgetown averaging 81 points a game, but they're coming off their lowest scoring game of the season. They were beaten earlier this week at Seton Hall, 68-54. Hoyas putting up only 54 points. Inbounds against pressure, and here comes Georgetown. Brandon Bowman, the freshman, up court to sophomore Bethel. Tony Bethel pulling out. He's short, and Grady Reynolds doing some good work for the Red Storm.
No offense without Sweeney, except for free throws for Georgetown. It is indeed a triangle in two. On the guards for St. John's, Christian Smith and Marcus Hatton.
We asked Craig Esherick about any memorable games against St. John's, and with as many years at Georgetown, he just took a deep breath like, where do you start? But said his most memorable season was the 84-85 season when they played 4 times, twice in the regular season, once in the Big East tournament, and once in the Final Four. That was the year that Villanova beat Georgetown for the title.
St. John's only won one of those games, the first one.
That was here by 20.
In Washington by 20. The Hoyas won the rest of them.
Then they changed their defense against Mullen. Went to box and won.
Correct, after the first game. They had a good memory time.
Well, Coach Esherick told us that not that long ago.
Yeah.
But he said that more than any one game, he remembers that season, playing St. John's 4 times in a season. Look at that soft touch. Marcus Hatton is now up to an 11-point production. He's hit 5 of 8 from the field. Marcus Hatton shooting well and keeping St. John's in the lead.
All the ways you can score, pull up, slashing to the basket. Number 1, he figures it out. That time he changed his hand, and he drills the 3. Not shooting threes real well recently, but he has his flaws, too. He's kind of a loose cannon offensively, but he's mostly accurate. The one problem against Villanova, St. John's had 15 turnovers. Marcus Hatton had 7 of them. So he's human. But, boy, is he fun to watch.
And now let's take a look at the Guinness game summary. The league's gone back and forth. Neither team shooting particularly well, but Georgetown, you see, the big numbers in this game are from the free throw line, where the Hoyas have hit 15 of 16. 12-point advantage from the line. A lot of turnovers by the Hoyas. They've turned it over 10 times. But St. John's has rallied back and taken the lead again by 3.
Mike Sweetney back in the game. And that's going to contract the defense, opening it up for the three-point shooters of Georgetown, who have not been successful of late.
And Bucky, St. John's doing a great job with offensive rebounding.
Well, they got the quick mitts. They got the quick mitts on defense and quick mitts on the offensive board. They keep it alive. St. John's 11 offensive boards. The bigger, stronger Hoyas only 5.
Now the Hoyas, as we're under 2 minutes, come down the floor. Down by 3. Bethel to Sweetney. I mean, they're just all over Sweetney. The whole defense collapses on him when he gets it inside. He's that good. Glover with a defensive board. And now Coach Jarvis up, calling a play for the Red Storm.
1 minute, 30 seconds to go. Red Storm with a 3-point lead. When the Hoyas, when St. John's leads at the half, this year they are 8-0. So somehow or other in their psyche, Mike Jarvis trying to take that to the locker room and make it the foundation of his halftime talk. Nobody beats us in the second half.
Glover going hard to the basket. The ball is slapped away. No foul. And here comes Georgetown. Bethel gets it out to the wing. And from three-point range, knocking it down is Gerald Riley, a 45% three-point shooter, getting his first try of the day. He's hit 19 of 41 now for the season from the arc. And that ties it up at 35 all with just over a minute to play in the half.
Gerald Riley, the 6'6 junior, squares up, shoulder square, and nails it. 45% from three. And he's dangerous because he can put it on the floor, and he's a terrific defender.
Yeah, he's the best defender.
Yeah, he had 19 and was MVP in that loss to the Cavaliers of Virginia in Charlottesville. The pieces are there for Georgetown, kind of like they are for St. John's. But at this point in the year, they haven't come together entirely, and that's normal.
And coming up on the ESPN Plus halftime report, I'll look at the Big East wire, East versus West. One with the dominant scores, the other with dominant defending teams, highlights and stats. Gerald Riley, as the coach was telling us, Buck, he's still getting over the effects of a stress fracture suffered in the preseason, so he's not at 100%, but he's still good enough, even with a bad foot, to be put on Marcus Hatton much of the game as a defender.
Hoyas now straight 2-3 zone.
Skip pass over the top, and Shaw loses the ball. And now Georgetown will come down the floor with a chance to take back the lead.
St. John's getting a tremendous boost from the bench this afternoon. Grady Williams, Reynolds, who averages just 1 point a game, already has 7 here in the first half and 5 rebounds, 4 of them offensive. So a huge insertion of energy and production off the bench for the Red Storm.
Big Mark Sweetney positioned at the free throw line. Zone collapsing around him.
They've lost his address. He has not handled it much.
About an 8-second disparity between shot clock and game clock. Bethel pulls up. Good-looking shot. Doesn't go. Reynolds with another good work on the defensive end. Lead up court. Here comes Willie Shaw to the basket. And outside to Marcus Hatton. And that'll do it for the half. A standoff. After the first 20 minutes of play, it's 35 all in a game that has gone back and forth. Leading scorers Hatton and Sweetney, each with 11 for their respective teams. So Georgetown's dominance at the free throw line has helped keep the Georgetown Hoyas in the game, and now in a tie. There's been 5 lead changes.
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
Mark and Karen have twins. They use their Discover card because it pays them for the things they buy. So far, they've earned a cashback bonus award of $140. It's money they use to pay for a special night out and an emergency 24-pack. Discover card. Why not get paid for the things you buy anyway?
Great devotion to a single purpose. That defines a team. Those who stumble but still find the will to rise up. Risking pain for the chance to stand out from the crowd. And having tasted both victory and defeat, steadily raise expectation. The NCAA Championships on ESPN.
all-new Dodge Ram Heavy Duty.
Did you mean the Charger? Because, you know, that's got a Hemi, too.
Now with a 345 horsepower, 5.7-liter Hemi Magnum. Ram Heavy Duty. Enough muscle to grab Motor Trend's 2003 Truck of the Year award.
Banquet presents Do the Math.
Don't forget, quiz tomorrow. I may ask my students to find the value of X, but at the end of the day, when it's time to feed my family, I'm looking for value of a different kind. And Banquet always comes through. Take their original chicken patties. Now there's an extra patty in every box. That's 20% more of that delicious Banquet chicken for the same great Banquet price as before. And the kids love them. Thanks, Mom. Hey, you do the math.
For good food at a great value, you can always bank on Banquet.
Welcome to the ESPN Plus Halftime Report. From the MCI Center in Washington, Don Crickey with Bucky Waters, halftime of Georgetown and St. John's. And it's time now for the Big East Wire. The two divisions in the Big East Conference differ in more ways than just name. The East brings the big guns on offense with 4 of the top 6 scorers in the league, like Troy Bell of Boston College, averaging 23 points a game. He's been in double figures for all but one game this season. Then there's the great Marcus Hatt of St. John's, the 6'1 senior combining quickness with uncanny court sense to put up 22 points a game.
Ben Gordon leads UConn's league-leading offensive attack with an arsenal that can hurt opposing defenses from everywhere. Gordon has scored more than 20 points 8 times this season. Connecticut leads the league in scoring at more than 86 points a game. Freshman Craig Smith has been a tremendous compliment to Troy Bell at Boston College. The 6'7", 265-pound freshman combines power and ability to score a lot. Smith and Bell are the only teammates that are both in the top 10 in scoring.
And then there's the West. The West Division sports the top 5 and 8 of the top 10 defensive teams in the conference. The tough play of Brandon Knight and Julius Page on the perimeter, combined with the inside strength of Ontario Lett and Torrey Morris, make Pittsburgh the #1 defense in the league. Second-ranked Rutgers also plays an attacking style of D that has held opponents to less than 63 points a game.
Mike Sweeney of Georgetown uses his craftiness and brute Smith, while the Hoyas lead opposition to 60 points or less in 7 games this season. First-year coach John Beeline at West Virginia has the Mountaineers playing really tough defense. In the Big East, the East has the scorers, the West has the stoppers.
This week's Big East Dodge Tough Player of the Week is freshman forward Craig Smith of Boston College. In his first week of Big East Conference play, the 6'7" freshman from Los Angeles continued his exceptional play. Smith currently leads the Eagles in rebounding, while ranking second on the team in scoring at better than 20 points per game. Craig Smith of Boston College, this week's Dodge Tough Player of the Week.
Giving back to the community is a responsibility that I take seriously. There's an old saying, much is expected from those to whom much is given, and I agree. We are role models, and kids do look up to them. That's why I love working with them. They always want to talk about football, which is cool, but I try to also stress the importance of education. Sports are fun, but education is the key. If I could get that through to just one kid, it's worth all the trophies in the world.
All right, Wildcats, listen up. Now, well, Dave's dad here's the way. We're going to be short a third base coach. Do any of your dads have any experience? Yeah.
My dad owns Nike. Coach, there's my dad.
Hey, guys. Jelly bean?
Ownership. It's for everybody. At Ameritrade. Everything you need to trade. From real-time streaming quotes to 24/7 client services. All for $10.99. Every online equity trade, no matter how many shares you buy.
Wildcats.
Join the thousands who switch to Ameritrade every month. Ameritrade. What's your share? Open an account today at Ameritrade.com and get 25 commission-free internet equity trades. And you could be trading the same day you apply.
Back in 1927, we pumped our first gallon of Phillips 66, and word got around we made pretty good gasoline. Our idea was treat customers like neighbors, because they are, and make sure that Phillips 66 gasoline is always good enough to keep their cars coming back week after week. It was a good idea 75 years ago, and you know what? It still is. Year after year, mile after mile, and for all the miles to come. Phillips 66.
She won't come in the light.
Who?
You know who.
We won't sleep, not even for 10 minutes at a time.
We stay in the light, we stay alive. Don't let them put him in the dark.
Critics are calling Darkness Falls a terrifying thrill ride. Darkness Falls. Rated PG-13. Opens everywhere Friday.
David! I hope somebody has a pair of shades because I'm about to be on a moment in the spotlight.
Jamie gets his big break.
Hey there, pretty lady.
He's gonna be a big star.
I just got a deal with Beatdown Records.
But his big deal
They won. Daytime.
Then they screwed us.
is a big mistake.
Your album goes double platinum. All we'll be able to afford is a double cheeseburger.
Tomorrow at 7:30, only on UPN 9.
Welcome back to the MCI Center in Washington, halftime of Georgetown and St. John. Next weekend, tune in to ESPN Plus for more exciting Big East basketball. The action comes your way Saturday, January 25th, as Georgetown, led by Mike Sweetney, travels to Pittsburgh to take on an explosive Panthers team led by the backcourt duo of Brandon Knight and Julius Page. Don't miss the excitement of another action-packed Big East contest when Georgetown takes on Pittsburgh Saturday, January 25th at noon Eastern from ESPN Plus. And we'll be back with halftime highlights and the stats in just a moment.
The kinds of questions that we ask as a university continue to be the same. About meaning, about belief, values. Georgetown has this long, deep tradition of ethical seriousness, combined with the sense that each individual must work out his or her own way to operate in the world.
Georgetown University, a home for scholarship, faith, and service.
Air conditioning, V6 engine with automatic transmission, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, side airbags. Do I need those?
Look out!
Side airbags.
When you get a Hyundai Sonata GLS for just $18.94 plus America's Best warranty, you win. Right now, get a 2003 Sonata GLS with 0 money down and 0 payments for 90 days.
Mark and Karen have twins. They use their Discover card because it pays them for the things they buy. So far, they've earned a cashback bonus award of $140. It's money they use to pay for a special night out and an emergency 24-pack. Discover card. Why not get paid for the things you buy anyway?
This shot for the cup and a piece of hurling history. What must be going through that young man's head, young man's head, young man's head? Has he got what it takes to be a champion?
No other weekly financial publication moves the markets like Barron's. It provides the knowledge, insight, and foresight that allow you to stay one step ahead. Subscribe now and you'll also receive this Barron's Stock Evaluator free. It lets your computer help you turn money into wealth. Get 13 weeks of Barron's and the Stock Evaluator, all for only $39. Call now toll-free, 800-334-6600. That's 800-334-6600.
Hey, life is short. There goes the theory that you were cute when you were small. Laugh hard. She's glowing. Yeah, that's how nature tells us it's dangerous. Live large.
Look at this little makeup case. Couldn't even do one eye.
Play rough.
Let's not hurt each other with words. Let's do it paperweights.
And catch the Drew Carey Show.
You know, if you think I didn't like that, you're wrong.
Because when it comes to comedy,
Permission to cabbage patch, sir.
no pain, no gain.
Somebody pinch me. Thanks, Malcolm.
Weeknights at 11:30.
Now let's take a look at the Hyundai first half highlights. Marcus Hatton with the highlight reel as he put in 11 points and played almost the whole half. He was in for 18 of the 20 minutes.
Yeah, but Mr. Inside, Mike Sweetney, only had 4 shots. He made 3 of them, but he threw his 260 pounds around. And even it got so crowded there, he went outside and hit. But he had 11 points in just 10 minutes of action. Marcus Hatton also had 11 points, but he played 18 minutes. And yes, he got them from everywhere. Outside, left hand, right hand, flashing in the lane. He was able to lead his team. Mike Sweetney, with just 2 personal fouls, will be able to go full bore in the second half.
Marcus Hatton looks like he's ready to go again. We'll be back in a moment.
Playing basketball at UConn has given me great opportunities. But with those opportunities comes responsibility. To be a good role model and give back to the community. One thing I like to do is share my love of reading with kids. No, Libby, just one. How about 4? 2? I really think reading is better than watching TV or playing video games because you use your imagination. I tell them reading is the key to getting a good education. And it's that education that will provide them with a lifetime of opportunities.
How much is a Hyundai Elantra with automatic transmission and air conditioning?
Under $13,000.
Shut up. What if I want power windows, locks, and mirrors?
Same price.
Shut up. And front and side airbags?
Same price. He's gonna hit me. The Hyundai Elantra GLS for just $12,794. When you get more than you'd expect, including America's best warranty, you win. Right now, get a 2003 Elantra GLS with 0 money down and 0 payments for 90 days.
Cooper Tire is proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing.
I hope somebody has a pair of shades because I'm about to be on a moment in the spotlight.
Jamie gets his big break.
Hey there, pretty lady.
He's gonna be a big star.
I just got a deal with Beatdown Rick.
But his big deal
They won. They done. Then they screwed us.
is a big mistake.
If your album goes double platinum, all we'll be able to afford is a double cheeseburger.
Tomorrow at 7:30, only on UPN 9.
Dreaming about starting an adventure? Stop dreaming and start driving. Save big on the world's best-selling SUV Ford Explorer 4x4. Now just $380 a month with only $380 down. So start enjoying the roomier, smoother, and more powerful Explorer. So hurry in and get an Explorer for just $380 a month. Let the adventures begin with Ford Explorer today.
Craig Esherick with his Hoyas ready to go out. What a difference when Mike Sweetney's in the lineup. Well, he was in the lineup in the first half. Georgetown outscored St. John's by 16 points. But when he wasn't in the lineup because of foul trouble, the Red Storm outscored Georgetown without Sweetney by 16. What a
How's
swing.
that for being a franchise player? Paul Evans, a great stat there. And, of course, as we look at these numbers, Hatton did accomplish his in 18 minutes of play. Mike Sweetney only 10. And that's the reason we saw so much zone in the first half by the Hoyas, because he was trying to stretch Sweetney with 2 fouls into the second half. So I think we'll look forward to seeing much more aggressive defense by the Hoyas now.
And here is the rebound off to Georgetown as they look to break this 35-all halftime tie. Down low to Sweetney, 3 people on him. Ball kicked away. Here comes Ingram. Lead on the right is Hatton. And Marcus Hatton was easy pickings up. A nice lead by the freshman Elijah Ingram. And Hatton now has 13 points. And the Red Storm takes back a 2-point lead.
St. John's now in a wide 2-3, but then it gets tight. When the ball goes inside, boy, do the Hoyas need that. With Mike Sweetney being doubled and tripled, Wesley Wilson has got room to spare down there. That time the Hoyas found him. There he is, big number 50, 260-pounder. The senior delivers, and a chance for a three.
And Kyle Koff just got his third personal foul, Bucky, for Georgetown. He's still on the floor, or for St. John's, as to the free throw line is Wilson. Koff inbounding the ball for the Red Storm. Here comes Hatton, who so far has been the most impressive of the Red Storm shooters. Hitting for high percentage, hitting for big numbers, 13 points already.
Georgetown would like to press a little bit more, but St. John's is getting the ball inbound and running through it before it can get set up. Nice pass.
Tied up ball. Players in the possession arrow. Goes over to the Hoyas, so they'll inbound the ball. Hatton has hit 6 of 10 shots today.
We talked about both coaches going to their benches and playing several people. Reynolds was the only St. John's player to score. He gave him 7 points and 8 boards.
Tony Bethel gets a rare open look from the perimeter, but can't get it to go. Rebound to the Hoyas and back outside to Bethel, and Sweetney comes out and helps him. Here's Pullman, this very smooth freshman, moving to the basket and drawing a foul. The second on Eric King.
Georgetown has the wing shooters, percentage-wise, to stretch your defense out there. I mean, with Bethel shooting 40 and Riley shooting 45, they can stretch the defense to make more room for Riley, but they just for Sweeten, but they just haven't been hitting.
Out to Bowman, looking for the baseline left. Not there. Good defense by Koff. Bethel with the ball is the first new point guard as a starter for the Hoyas in 4 years. Kevin Braswell was started at the point for the past 4 seasons. He's now graduated. Rebound to Sweetney, right back up. Big Mike hoists that 260 with relative ease up and over and slams it down, and it is a 40-37 game Georgetown.
When this team gets really feeling good and knowing each other, they're going to be more difficult to defend than they were with Kevin Braswell. He had the ball a lot. Right now, there are better shooters on the wing than Braswell had to go with him. He had to force a lot of offense. This is a dangerous team in the making, this Georgetown team.
Very aggressive, a lot of team speed. A reject by Bethel, the 6'1 guard, got a piece of the ball. And the Hoyas now looking to build a run early in the second half. Bethel into the paint. And somehow finds it down on a carom shot. And the Hoyas have a 5-point lead, and that's enough for Coach Mike Jarvis as he calls his team over. A 7-0 Hoya run with 17:10 left to go in the game. So Georgetown comes out scoring to open the second half.
Air conditioning, V6 engine with automatic transmission, 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, side airbags. Do I need those?
Look out!
Side airbags.
When you get a Hyundai Sonata GLS for just $18.94 plus America's best warranty, you win. Right now, get a 2003 Sonata GLS with 0 money down and 0 payments for 90 days.
Check it out! Cheesy ravioli that tastes like pepperoni pizza. That's what you get with new pepperoni pizzazzaroli. It's positively pizza-rific. Thank goodness. Try new cheesy burger too.
The male can often find himself in precarious situations.
It is funny.
So how many votes did you know? Seriously? Me too.
Okay. Great.
Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
Georgetown starting fast in the second half, opening a 5-point lead. Don Cricky with Bucky Waters. A very important time of the season as these teams try to build their NCAA tournament playoff resume, and these teams need this game badly, Bucky.
The Hoyas went right down inside. Sweetney and Wilson were 4 for 5 in the first half. They just didn't get many touches. Greg Wilson made sure that happened.
Well, I tell you, there's not much happening in the St. John's end of the floor offensively. The Red Storm 1 for 4 in the second half. No rebounds so far in the half for the Red Storm. Well, Georgetown has shot 3 of 5 and has 4 rebounds.
The Hoyas, when they can, setting up their press a little further back. They had difficulty setting up full court pressure because St. John's inbounded it so quickly. But it's been effective in the three-quarter and half-court area.
Talking to Marcus Hatton before the game, he said what Coach Jarvis has stressed getting ready for this game was he's got to be consistent. Consistent with the ball, consistent with shot selection. And Eric King finds himself with an easy inside shot. He has 6 points, and the Red Storm comes back to within 3.
St. John still packing it in with that zone.
Riley fires, doesn't go. Rebound comes down to Mike Sweetney. And every time he slams something down, that gets Eschrick like pogo sticks off the bench. Well, he pumps up his coach.
It's about 8 on the Richter scale, so it's easy to get a little hop here on the floor. That's a big dude.
And that was a hammer down slam that rocked the rim. And again, gives the Hoyas a 5-point lead with a long way to go.
Free throws again the key. Georgetown at the half, 15 for 16. St. John's only 3 for 6. Both teams shooting poorly from the three-point line.
Perimeter rotation of the ball by the Hoyas, looking to open up the arc. Here is Riley, their best three-point shooter. And going to go from the free throw line. King with the ball, starts to lead the break at 6-7. And Marcus Hatton drawing the crowd now, and quickly calls a timeout.
We talk about Sweetney drawing the crowd inside. Mike Jarvis holding hands with Timmy Egan. He called that timeout. Normally when the player is in trouble that way, he calls time. But the coach was right there and he bailed him out.
The Ameritrade out-of-town scoreboard looks like this. Pittsburgh in the second half with a 6-point lead over Syracuse. Seton Hall back on track now. Big win during the week, and now the Hall leading again over Miami. Louisville up on Texas Christian, another ranked team, Texas Tech, number 25. Is a 10-point leader over the Baylor Bears. And there are some later starts involving ranked teams.
Rick Pitino seems comfortable to be back in college coaching. What a huge win he had over Kentucky. And he came down into North Carolina and ran into a good and raucous crowd at East Carolina. And I wonder, after playing in all those big arenas in the NBA and rough arena at home, how he felt about Little Minji's Coliseum. But they came out with a big win.
And here comes the Georgetown Hoyas moving quickly. Sweetney, a point a minute performer today. 15 points in 15 minutes. That's Mike Sweetney with the ball. And he will go to the line to shoot 2.
You could bet out of every dead ball, out of every timeout, when Georgetown gets the ball, the address is going to be number 34. The big fella. Get it to him. He needs more touches.
Hey, for such a big, bruising guy like an NFL lineman, Mike Sweetney has such a soft touch. Just great hands.
The hands and the feet belie his body that looks more like a Hummer or a tank. He just doesn't get enough touches. And that give credit to the opposing defenses. They know what he can do, and they're defying St. John's to beat him from outside.
Lucky they got to get him more shots. He's 5 of 6 shooting the ball. And he's 6 of 7 from the free throw line. And the Hoyas have extended to a 6-point lead.
You're 34, sweetheart. You should be thinking about your future. I've been investing. Oh, please. I bought EMI. You bought EMI? You own EMI, the music company? Well, I am so proud of you.
You want a piece of my heart? Oh, baby, start from the start. You want to be in the show? Come on, baby, let's go! Everybody's working for the weekend. You don't know how many times I wish that I could hold you. Don't you make my brown eyes...
Ownership. It's for everybody at Ameritrade. Everything you need to trade, from real-time streaming quotes to 24/7 client services, all for $10.99. Every online equity trade, no matter how many shares you buy. Join the thousands who switch to Ameritrade every month. Ameritrade, what's your share? Open an account today at Ameritrade.com and get 25 commission-free internet equity trades. And you could be trading the same day you apply.
How much is a Hyundai Elantra with automatic transmission and air conditioning?
Under $13,000.
Shut up. What if I want power windows, locks, and mirrors?
Same price.
Shut up. And front and side airbags?
Same price. You don't hit me.
The Hyundai Elantra GLS for just $12,794. When you get more than you'd expect, including America's best warranty, you win. Right now, get a 2003 Elantra GLS with 0 money down and 0 payments for 90 days.
Back to the MCI Center. It was tied at the half, 35 all. Now Georgetown with the 6-point lead. Mike Sweetney is making it happen.
He just figured anything that's on that grass is a pass. So he has been very effective working the offensive board. And that's the one that brought that it really increased Craig Eschrick's vertical leap. Look at the versatility. This is what he's done so far this season, again, with limited minutes.
Yeah,
very
Bucky,
productive.
is point a game, a point a minute production, 16 points in 16 minutes. That's what he has never fouled.
The Hoyas flexing their muscles inside. They were out-rebounded in the first half, 24-20. So far in the second half, they're beating the Red Storm 7-2 off the glass.
St. John's isn't getting the looks to shoot the ball here in the second half. Georgetown's defense really extending out, denying the perimeter.
And we'll see it that way, Don, until Sweetney gets 3, I think. They go zone to protect him, and it's not their best defense, but it's a wise move.
Catton fires and misses from way outside the arc. Not a high percentage shot. Now Wilson, top, they go down low to Sweetney. Up goes Mike Sweetney, and the rebound comes down to Kyle Cuff. Ball slapped out of his hands, inbounds to St. John. The 80th meeting of these two rivals who first competed against each other in basketball 93 years ago.
No, I didn't do the game. No, I didn't do the game.
No, that predated, I think, newspapers. I guess we had newspapers in 1909. But as far as seeing the game, if you weren't there, you didn't see it.
No, I missed that one.
Here is the long ball by Willie Shaw. Good three-point shooter, but it caroms off, and Beth brings the Hoyas up court.
Nicely done.
Down low to Wilson. Ooh. Got the wrong side of the iron, and it caroms off. And a big turn, an easy inside shot is missed, and now Ingram hits a three-pointer, and it is a three-point game. The Red Storm rallying back.
A 5-point turnaround with Sweetney at the top of the key and Wilson down low, or vice versa. That's a very powerful high-low. Difficult to defend.
Free ball, and Wilson now hustles people to it. Gets it to Riley. And here's the freshman Bowman. Good defense by Kyle Cuff. Shuts him off, but Bowman, who was run into his bag of tricks twice for us. Whoa. He's got 12.
Came into the game averaging 6, rising to the occasion.
Bowman with the steal. Here comes Riley. And he is fouled as he heads to the basket. Will go to the free throw line to shoot 2. As Georgetown keeps the heat on.
In the old press and rip and run ways that Georgetown used to play, that was familiar. Not good spacing, not a lot of good stuff here. Here's Bowman with a quick turnaround. Look in his rearview mirror. Over the left shoulder. Try that one in your next horse game.
Whatever's fair. As the Hoyas, who are 9-3 overall, 1-1 in the conference. They lost their last time out at Seton Hall on January 14th last week. And now let's take a look at Shooting the Rock, brought to you by Rolling Rock. Grab a rock. Georgetown shooting the rock with precision and often from the free throw line. That's been the difference in the game.
They're 71% coming in here, and they've certainly helped their percentage today. Over 90.
From the line. Gordon tripped down for the Red Storm now. They need a hit. Down by 7. Willie Shaw dishes off. Caught. Back to Shaw, a good shooter. Launches in and out. Rebound. Hatton tips it. And it's grabbed by Bowman, the freshman, and Georgetown with Bethel in control of the ball. Now ready to run a play and run some clock.
That's a good no call on Hatton. We have fine officiating crew here today.
We do that. Tim Higgins, Dan Connolly, and Joe Lindsay.
Tough stuff. Tony Bethel. Boy, he's good with the ball. 6'2", strong, tough kid from Maryland, the sophomore.
Very skilled player at the point. Another aspect of Georgetown's play that's helped them build the 9-3 record overall is they are number 2 in America stealing the ball. They average over 13 steals a game. Number 1 in the Big East. Number 2 in the country.
Yeah, but they haven't had that many today, and you have to look at St. John's with their quick mitts. Small people, spread floor, and St. John's has managed not to fall in that trap.
Georgetown, Bucky, today has stolen the ball 4 times.
Kind of tough to catch Ingram and Marcus Hatton. They did have 15 turnovers, as we mentioned, against Villanova in that loss in the world's most famous arena this week.
And that was the good hands of Mike Sweetney tipping the ball away, and Georgetown maintains possession. Samnick looking down low. Here's Riley. Blocking foul is called on Marcus Hatton of St. John's. His third.
Gerald Riley looked like Jerome Bettis going down the baseline there. Poor Marcus Hatton got flat run over.
So there's a timeout on the floor. Georgetown rallying in the second half, breaking a 35-all halftime lead.
The male can often find himself in precarious situations.
It is funny. So how many girls have you know? Seriously? Me too.
Okay. Great. Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
Lisa 3 Series now with all-wheel drive for $339 a month, only through February 28th.
Hey, life is short.
There goes the theory that you were cute when you were small.
Laugh hard.
She's glowing. Yeah, that's how nature tells us it's dangerous.
Live large.
Look at this little makeup case. Couldn't even do one eye.
Play rough.
Let's not hurt each other with words. Let's do it paperweights.
And catch the Drew Carey Show.
You know, if you think I didn't like that, you're wrong.
Because when it comes to comedy,
Permission to cabbage patch, sir.
no pain, no gain.
Somebody pinch me. Thanks, Malcolm.
Weeknights at 11:30.
Big East basketball comes your way next Saturday when Mike Sweetney and Georgetown take on Brandon Knight in Pittsburgh. That's Georgetown versus Pittsburgh, Saturday, January 25th at noon Eastern from ESPN+. Georgetown behind the great Mike Sweetney, building an 8-point lead at this point in the second half after they were tied at halftime. And now the Hoyas look to extend as Bethel strokes a three. Tony Bethel, a 10-point-a-game scorer, gets the open look, and he now has 10 points. And the biggest lead of the game, an 11-point advantage for the Hoyas. Brady Reynolds working hard, goes down, no foul. Here comes Georgetown. And the Hoyas throw it away.
Hall said, my fault. Drew Hall, who gave 4 points off the bench in the first half, made one of his few errors today. Georgetown playing without talented freshman 6'2" Ashani Cook, who's a 44% shooter from 3 points. So an even greater emphasis to get that ball down inside. Wilson has been a dominant player in the second half. He had 1 rebound at the half. He's already got 6 with 11 minutes to go in the second half.
Kristen Smith gets an open look. It doesn't go. Rebound is taken at the offensive end by Reynolds, who is doing good things in the hard-to-do category, getting those offensive rebounds. Rebound knocked around. Hall has it. Drew Hall is caught by Glover, and they're going to call Anthony Glover for a hit on the arm that stopped the clock with 10:51 to play, and Glover gets the second personal foul.
Glover, 6 years in college. I'm sure the opposing coaches in the Big East feel like, yeah, he's been there 2 terms, Clinton and Bush. He's the kind of guy that wears you out. Coaches love guys like Glover.
He's a terrific guy. He's already graduated from St. John's, working on his master's in criminal justice, and wants to get into law enforcement work and also do some coaching. He'd be a good coach if they play as hard as he does.
Well, I'll tell him what my father told me. I said, Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a coach. He said, son, you can't do both.
Alan Clark used to always say it's not a profession for a fully sane man.
Amen and amen.
Well, you were head coach at West Virginia and Duke, so you've been through these wars.
Yes. Yes. It was fun. It was good to me, and I'm grateful, but I don't know that I want to start it all over again. Thank you. This is really fun.
What's the hardest part of coaching?
I think the recruiting, without question, and it's even harder now. If you just watch this LeBron James saga unfolding and McDonald's All-Americans, and it's really difficult. You know, they're just kids and put under great pressure. And you've got to have them. You've got to have them. You can't win the Kentucky Derby with a plow horse. Georgetown, a huge energy implosion coming out of the half. They've gone back inside. This man must have made one of his best appeals to the jury. They're a much different team than they were in the last 10 minutes of the first half.
And St. John's trying to solve this Georgetown defense. Works the ball all the way down and through to the buzzer on the shot clock. A turnover. A 19-7 scoring run for Georgetown in the second half. As Mike Jarvis on the sideline looking for answers.
And St. John's going back to their best defense, man for man.
Riley working hard to the basket, and Gerald Riley lays it in and goes to the free throw line to extend to a still bigger lead. It's a 14-point Hoya advantage.
It's moves like this that's going to increase the disparity on free throw shooting. Georgetown now finding gaps in that defense, putting it on the floor. It's an 11-0 run, and Sweetney is back in the game over the last 3 minutes and 20 seconds.
Gerald Riley, a junior from Midville, Georgia, been like Mike Sweetney, a guy who has started every game of his career at Georgetown. He's on Hatton. Hatton trying to lose it with that crossover dribble. Help is on the way as Bethel comes out to double team, and that leaves Kristen Smith open. But again, the Red Storm struggling from the arc, and now a double team on Drew Hall. And a turnover is forced down low to Doyle, who lays it in, and he'll go to the free throw line. Freshman Tim Doyle from Merrick, Long Island.
The Hoyas ran off and left them. Drew Hall left down under their double team. Probably should have just eaten the ball and given his defense a chance to set up, but tried to get it out of there, and 3 red jerseys were all over it. Kristen Smith getting a lot more minutes now, getting great looks as well, and just can't get it down. St. John's has to find Marcus Hatton. He's got to get it going for him. This one's slipping away.
A 3-point play there by the freshman Doyle when it was badly needed. Now another steal by St. John's and another quick foul by Bethel trying to get it back. So the Red Storm inching their way back into this.
And it's their defense that's doing it. The steals, the quick hands. Tim Doyle, 6'4" freshman from Merrick, New York, has been part of that defensive surge.
Ruth Hall going after the ball from Marcus Hatton. Doyle gets the ball. Dishes out, an open look. Kyle Cuff fires long range. Doyle again fighting for the ball. Tips it. This time it goes out in the hands of Tony Bethel. Georgetown on the run.
Bethel really impressive. He was practically triple teamed down there and just tucked that ball under his chin, split the double team, and came out flying. I'm not sure Craig Esherick is real pleased he had that timeout because Georgetown had the numbers leaving those three St. John's players down there empty-handed after that triple team effort.
And tomorrow, Bucky, a good one at Chestnut Hill as the West Virginia Mountaineers, one of the surprise teams in the league, play the Eagles of Boston College. That's at noon tomorrow Eastern Time on ESPN+. BC has beaten the Mountaineers, I think, the last 4 times they've played. But West Virginia, a very improved team this year under its first-year coach, John Beeline, who came there from Richmond.
Yeah, he was up in the East earlier, Don. He was at Canisius, did a terrific job there, came to Richmond, and I have not seen the Mountaineers yet, except a little bit getting ready for this Georgetown game when they took the Hoyas into overtime. But the personnel, I mean, he's just doing a great job. Where did he get some horses?
A lot of passing and cutting. Esherick told us that West Virginia this year plays a lot like Princeton. Down low, a push in the back of Sweetney, and they caught that. Mike Sweetney has an absolutely ideal basketball disposition. They hit him, they push him, they knock him around. Never loses his composure, never changes his expression.
Glover tries to give him a little help from the back and didn't even push him off balance. Glover, if you're going to push that guy, you better get a running start.
Mike Sweetney with 18 points now, and 8 of them have come at the line where he's hit 8 of 10. A 19-point game for Georgetown's leading scorer and rebounder, Mike Sweetney. And it is another 14-point lead for the Hoyas.
Georgetown now showing that zone again, trying to get St. John's to beat them from outside. St. John's only shoots 30% from out there, but they've just been in a funk. It's been much higher earlier, and they've been cold of late. And when you're small and don't shoot well from outside, you're in trouble. And that's what happened against Villanova on Wednesday night.
Marcus Haddon putting on a move, goes in a reverse down the baseline of the court, but from the arc, it's been a sad story for the Red Storm.
Georgetown 3 for 11, St. John's 3 for 20. Neither one of these teams have been in the groove from the bonus sphere, but another disaster for the Red Storm today. And against that front line of Georgetown, they desperately needed to extend that defense.
Yeah, 3 for 20 for the Red Storm from the arc. That's 12 for 15%. The last game they only had 5 of 20 against a loss with Villanova. Down low they go, and this time Wilson gets it on down. Craig Esherick's up after every one of those, telling his defense, get back down there. These guys are fast.
St. John's working, and that's what really, when you work that hard on defense and the ball just beats the shot clock, that's really discouraging.
Okay, this quick ball movement's the only way you're going to beat this aggressive, honking defense. Passing the ball. Nobody yet can run as fast as somebody can pass it.
That brought the crowd up, but it was a good foul by Tristan Smith. He didn't try to hurt him. He just made sure there was no layup.
Good second look as we see Marcus Haddon, the ball Karamov. And off they go the other way. The Hoyas on the run.
Bethel throwing that long two-handed pass. Tristan Smith scrambled back to take away the layup.
Good second look. ESPN Plus production crew, led by producer Jim Dodona and director Bob Frateroli from the MCI Center. We're coming. Big East basketball on the air with the Georgetown Hoyas in a 15-point lead, 62-47, with 7:23 to go in the game.
Craig Esherick looking for his first win over St. John's that we mentioned earlier. Mike Jarvis 4-0 against the Hoyas. And St. John's has a 5-game winning streak. It's surely in jeopardy now.
A 16-point lead for the Hoyas. Back to the nation's capital in a moment.
Visit your local BMW center for a test drive.
UPN 9 News is brought to you by Hofstra University.
Friday. Heed the warnings.
Won't come in the light.
Oh.
You know who.
Stay in the light.
Don't let them put him in the dark.
Darkness falls. Rated PG-13 opens everywhere Friday. To save a desolate planet from rogue warriors, the crew gets down and dirty. Enterprise.
Wednesday at 8.
One of the signal figures in the history of the game, Red Auerbach, looking on.
He's not allowed to smoke. No cigars, Red.
You can't fire him up anymore in the building.
Boy, was he some tennis player. Sam Jones used to say, couldn't beat him.
Is that right?
Everything was close to the line was out. And he says, how you going to argue with Red? And Sam is a good tennis player who also lives here in the D.C. area.
Yes, tremendous guy, Sam Jones, and what a shooter. Used the glass better than anybody ever played, perhaps. Bank shot artist, jumper from the side. And now a very good defensive effort by Ingram on Bethel as he has a hard time breaking it over the timeline. St. John's ratcheting up the defense, trying to get possession and get back in this game if they can. Tied at the half, 35 all. But Georgetown has pulled away in the second half to lead by 16. And the free throw line has been unbelievable, the disparity, Buck.
It really has. St. John's has shot only 7, making 4. But they've lost 22 points at the line. Georgetown has made 26 out of 30. That is really difficult to overcome. St. John's gets a week off here. They've played like 6 games in the last 19 days. They get a week off and go down to Blacksburg, Virginia, and that's no walk in the park. And we know what's waiting at Connecticut and Miami.
A week off after all those games. It's interesting that in this game, St. John's, although trailing by 16, actually has 3 more field goals made than do the Hoyas. But the line has been everything. It hasn't been charity for St. John's. That's right.
With St. John's going man for man, the Hoyas opening the floor, and this is really going to be a test because it's going to make it very difficult to get double coverage on Mike Sweetney down low. The key is if the pressure is good enough, they won't be able to find him and get it to him.
Here's Ingram, the first-year point guard, working against Bethel. Ingram has been quiet offensively. Good three-point shooter, but they haven't been able to free him up. Hatton will score the goal as Marcus Hatton puts it up on the way down. He has 17 and he'll go to the line as he cuts the lead to 14 with 6:21 still to play. And that was the 4th foul on Gerald Riley, who got the assignment of guarding Marcus Hatton. That's something you probably want to tell a player, Bucky, the day of the game. He's not going to sleep the day before if you tell him.
Well, that's what makes coaching such a challenge. You know, sometimes it's a smile, sometimes it's a scowl. And of course, the key is to know which one to employ and when. Look at that consistency. This is his last year, and St. John's has in the wing a terrific point guard from Cardozo High School, Darrell Hill, who was a partial qualifier and has been practicing with the team. They say he's a good one. He better be.
Here's Hatton with the steal, breaking on in, and Hatton lays it down. And all of a sudden, the Red Storm finds its way back into the game, now down by 11. 5-0 run. Georgetown having problems getting the ball up the floor.
How about that?
Here's Bowman heading to the basket. He is fouled at the baseline of the court.
Terrific move coming up the floor. Great balance, great agility, like a Baryshnikov. He couldn't bounce it because he was surrounded by red jerseys.
Hatton, the leading scorer for St. John's, with 20. Sweetney leads the Hoyas with 19.
This ball deflected. Terrific move there. Drew Hall, who's given him a terrific half, pushes it up the floor, finds Brandon Bowman, and the long Californian goes down the baseline.
You know, the Big East, when the conference heats up, Bucky, it's going to be physical. We saw the Notre Dame Seton Hall game last week, talking to Mike Grace, that our guys, you know, were hitting 12 threes against some teams early in the year. He said, you get into this conference, he said, you better dig for everything because it's not going to be there any other way.
Boy, Brandon Bowman is an 80% free throw shooter. Neither one of those look good.
Reynolds has 10 rebounds for the Red Storm. St. John's trying to free up a shooter. Down low, partially rejected. Rebound down to Bowman. And freshman Brandon Bowman puts it in the sure hands of guard Drew Hall.
Hall doing a nice job on Hatton. 6'2" sophomore from Silver Spring. Has been a big boost off the bench today for the Hoyas.
Wilson down low. Fires it up as he's fouled. And now let's take a look at the BMW ultimate drive of the game. It is none other than Marcus Hatton.
The Baltimore Bullet, penetrating all those tall Hoyas, draws a crowd, finds that soft spot on the glass. He is amazing.
How far do you think he can take his game?
Oh, I think he can play at the next level. He can create a shot. He's only 6'1", but it's not a catch and shoot guy. If you're going to defend him, you're going to have to find him. He's very creative. I think he can play, but then again, I've been wrong before. Once in, I think it was 62, and maybe once in the 80s.
I like the kid about Coach Jarvis's thick New England accent. Marcus Hatton says he doesn't call me Marcus, he calls me Marcus. Inbounds the ball comes as Shaw runs the baseline. You can do that after a made shot by your opponent.
Absolutely. Boy, you need to get a striped shirt on, Crick. You got it. Great matchup here. Great matchup here.
More teams don't use that, though, to get a long outlet court pass down the court. Sometimes against pressure, it works.
It does. There are two ways to beat pressure off the baseline. One, get it in real quick, which is what St. John said early. Or two, really take your time and set up. Don't get in between. You really help the defense.
Ingram's not helping the defense as he goes through, and then a bear of a man with the watchmaker's hands, and Mike Sweetney slams it back. Warning Ingram not to bring things like that into his...
Return to sender. Ingram loves to go left with that left hand. He has a tough time finishing in the Big East. He's a catch-and-shoot kind of guy. Nice move in there.
That's the way of the ball, Marcus Hatton. Gets it out to Shaw, and Willie Shaw goes to the basket, gets the goal, and goes to the line.
No quitting the Red Storms on there. They just keep coming at you. If they can make this game a blender over the last 4 minutes and 29 seconds, it's clearly to their advantage. They play well in the junkyard game, and it helps to negate the powerful front line of the Hoyas.
And the Red Storm, Bucky, needs Shaw to come alive more offensively. He has hit only 1 of 7 field goals today. But now he converts a 3-point play after his first hit. And it is a 10-point game, Georgetown. 80th meeting over the years of Georgetown and St. John's. Bowman breaks the press. Sweetney. Hall keeps it himself and takes it down through and scores it.
Very impressive off the bench, Drew Hall.
Hatton really going one-on-one now, trying to dribble through the Georgetown defense, and in so doing, he draws the foul.
Greg Eschrick trying to figure out what do we do here. It's a long time to go. We're stopping the clock in our man-for-man with fouls and allowing St. John's to catch up. If I go zone, I will force them perhaps to shoot from outside, and they're only 3 for 20 today. My best defense is man-for-man. This is what is going through the coach's mind. Is it what we do best, or what do we need now?
And that's it for Gerald Riley, Bucky. He has fouled out. That'll happen when you try to guard Marcus Hatton. But on the team foul count, Georgetown, when they shoot free throws, already in the double bonus because there are 10 team fouls on the Red Storm. Just 6 team fouls so far on Georgetown in the second half. It was 35 all at halftime. And then the Hoyas came out scoring the ball, rebounding better, and building a 16-point lead. Now holding to a 12-point advantage with 4:10 left to play. Victor Samnick comes back in the game.
St. John's looking to extend their dominance over Georgetown to 6 straight, and they're very much alive.
Hatton falling down, and the ball will come inbounds to St. John. Hatton with 20 points so far on the day. And the leading scorer for the Hoyas is Sweetney with 19. We'll be back to Washington in a moment.
Lease a 3 Series now with all-wheel drive for $339 a month, only through February 28th.
The male can often find himself in precarious situations.
It is funny.
So how many votes have you, Seriously? Me too.
Okay. Great.
Rolling Rock beer. Grab a rock.
Start out the sensation of driving today at your local Ford store in the stylish 2003 Ford Taurus. With plenty of standard features, an elegant interior, and confident ride. Taurus is a great value. Now get a Taurus with 0% financing for 5 years or $3,000 cash. Hurry in and get incredible 0% financing for 5 years or $3,000 cash on a new Ford Taurus.
This game is brought to you by Hyundai, where driving is believing. Come test drive the full lineup of exciting new cars at your local Hyundai dealer today. By Cooper Tire, proud to be the official tire of the Big East Conference. Cooper Tires, don't give up a thing. By BMW, test drive the ultimate driving machine at your local BMW Center. Don Craigie with Bucky Waters at the MCI Center. The importance of Mike Sweetney to Georgetown is overwhelming with Sweetney in the lineup. Georgetown is plus 24 in scoring while he's been out. St. John's has had a 10-point scoring advantage, so Sweetney really is the cornerstone of virtually everything they do.
That's a great stat. Points to the efficiency of the big guy. Good outlet against the press as well. Good hands.
This guy's a nice-looking player. This Brandon Bowman, starting for Georgetown as a freshman from the Los Angeles area. As we mentioned earlier, played for Westchester High School, which in some national rankings was #1 in America last year. They have another very good player from Westchester High, Ashanti Cook, who's missing his 3rd straight game with an injury, but he's going to be a top player, a backcourt player. Ingram strokes long, and guess what? With 3:30 to play, the Red Storm is back to within 6 and keeping the heat on.
Every time they score, they get time to set up the press, and that was a near miss. Marcus Hatton almost had that one. He got
lead. It's going to be down to 4 as Hatton lays it in, and St. John's comes roaring back. And Greg Esherick up off the bench wants a timeout. So down by 16, St. John's with pressure defense and no quit rallies with a 13-2 run to cut the lead to 4 with a lot of time still to be played.
Well, it's a two-edged sword. When they score, they have time to set up the press. And when they press, they're very, very good. So far, Georgetown has not fallen into the trap of being too tentative, which some teams do with a big lead, but they have not used good judgment. Case in point, last time down the floor, the freshman trying to score, pushes it up the floor, and there's Hatton on the breakaway. He was almost in our lap here in the broadcast area trying to make a steal that left him basket hanging when the steal was made closer to the baseline. Brandon Bowman with he's got to understand the time and score and situation. He did not need to make that play from the top of the key, and it was a charging foul, which helped to turn the tide.
But I think what you said earlier, Buck, about St. John's keeping that full tempo game going, even when they weren't playing well, keeping the pressure on, and they really have ignited their offense with great defensive play.
And they've taken the big guys out of the game. When you're playing 94 feet, Mike Sweetney, as good as he is, struggles to get in play. Now, if you want to play chess with these two fine coaches, there it is. 4 points. St. John's with a full and a half. Georgetown with only a 30 remaining.
Georgetown led by 15 with just over 5 minutes to play. Now with 3 minutes and 15 seconds to play, it is down to a 4-point advantage for the Hoyas. Looks like Drew Hall took a shot. Greg Etcher, we talked to him about the conference. He can't remember any time with this many good teams in the Big East.
Again, Ashanti Cook, a 6'2 freshman who has been such a good three-point shooter at 44% and averaging 7 a game. Not here today. So that Georgetown bench is a little depleted.
Willie Shaw playing some tough defense, denying Bowman a drive. Drew Hall lays it off to Sweetney, and he has fouled a very good foul by Grady Reynolds to stop the 2-point try, but he will send Big Mike Sweetney to the line.
Again, Drew Hall, the catalyst, off the dribble, penetrates, finds the big fella underneath. Boy, Grady Reynolds hammered him, but what a day he's had. Nice pass. Reynolds, 33, from the back. Sweetney's looking for a license number. Whoa. Reynolds, the junior college player from Alabama, had been a little disappointing early, but today a huge performance. And they're going to need him because they're undersized as they get into the bigger, stronger front lines of the Big East.
Yeah, but they won't have many more today now, as that was his 5th, and he fouls out with 7 points and 11 rebounds. And a lot of things that don't show up on the stat sheet. Tipping balls, forcing turnovers. Now, while we have a moment, let's take a look at our Ameritrade out-of-town scoreboard. The powerful Pitt Panthers beating a very good Syracuse team by 15. And Seton Hall back on track, leading Miami. Louisville over TCU, ranked Texas Tech with a relatively easy win over Baylor. Maryland and Duke underway, and Maryland with a 1-point lead in the first half.
The last two national champions playing right here in the about a par 5 from the MCI. They're not thrilled with each other. Those they have a tendency to go after each other, becoming a terrific rivalry.
Of course, the longtime Maryland coach, Lefty Drizel, stepping down finally.
Yes, he did.
And guess what? He'll be back.
I don't know about that. But Jim Phelan at Mount St. Mary's, another legendary coach. I think it was 49 years he coached. Just hung it up as well.
Oh, my. Wins, and Marcus Hatton takes it inside. And it is again a 69-65 game, a 4-point game. And still a lot of time left in this St. John's pressure defense has been a difference maker. Another steal. Marcus Hatton fouled as he goes baseline. And he'll go to the free throw line trying to make it a 2-point game. So it looked to be a relatively easy afternoon for Craig Esherick here in the second half. Now the coach is churning as the St. John's defense is making things happen.
Oh, great hands again. The quick mitts of Marcus Hatton. He strips the big guy, creates a loose ball. Foul cut, retrieved it. St. John's now catching up. They'll never catch up in the free throw disparity. It's, 20-some difference. But they're stopping the clock and they're getting back in the game.
See Hatton with 24 points, only 1 from the free throw line. Now 2. And it is a 3-point game with 2.5 to go. Don Criqui with Bucky Waters at the MCI Center. Georgetown with 30 free throws made, 30 of 36. The Red Storm with 8 of 12. So Georgetown with a 22-point free throw advantage, but only a 3-point advantage on the scoreboard.
Right now, the Hoyas between a rock and a hard place. They're fouling too much, which is stopping the clock and helping the St. John's comeback. And then offensively, they're caught between being tentative because they have a lead and then being too aggressive, throwing charging fouls and forcing themselves offensively. Right now, Olmo is wearing a red jersey.
No question, and here is a long ball by Ingram, rims out, but Koff offensive bounds. Kyle Koff with the most important get at the offensive end. Marcus Hatton highs it up at 69 all.
That was so far out, Don. That should have been a 4-point shot. My goodness.
Now the pressure on Georgetown. Down low they go, and a foul is going hard to the basket is Victor Samnick, the 6'8" senior from Cameroon. He's a good guy to send to the line, though, if you're St. John's, a 52% free throw shooter.
Look at that. That's not a deep three. That's like from another area code. Unbelievable. How strong he is. He's like 3 steps past the head of the key.
A friendly roll for Victor Samnick. St. John's on a 19-5 run in the last 3:20.
Well, he's been huge off the bench for Craig Escher. Very valuable player, the 6'8" senior. Real defined role player.
Rebound at the offensive end. A big one comes down to Brandon Bowman, who takes a shot in the chops.
But our Hoyas right now better pass crisply and come to meet the pass, because I guarantee you everything's going to be contested. St. John's has skin under their fingernails the way they've been playing the last 10 minutes.
And now a throwaway. Marcus Hatton on a breakaway for the lead, and St. John's takes the lead 71-70. 29 points for Marcus Hatton, and a timeout for Georgetown with 1:23 to play.
In some cases, Don, it has been the St. John's press. In others, they're just totally unforced errors. Sweeney just put the ball on the floor that time. And, yeah, he's drawing a crowd, but with those hands, he should wait and say, foul me, I dare you. I'm a good free throw. That's a poor pass. And, of course, Bowman, the freshman, fell down. And, boy, you give those running Red Storm like an inch, and they'll lay it up at the other end. This is their kind of game.
So St. John's with one of its dramatic comebacks in a long time, a 21-5 run for St. John's. And the first time the Red Storm has led since they had a 37-35 lead early in the second half. And then Georgetown went on a run and took command of the game, leading by 16 at one point in the second half. Led by 15 with just over 5 minutes to play.
Too close to the end line. You really help a press when you inbound at about 3 feet, because that baseline becomes another defensive player. You need to make some room for yourself. When you're pressed, you have to have spaces and freedom. Otherwise, you get too rigid. Look at that. Oh, my.
Fight for the ball, and Glover comes up with it.
Mike Sweeney, you got to be available, big fella, and make those hands sure.
Now the whole dynamic of the game has changed. It's St. John's running clock with a 1-point lead. Something's going to be in the air at the final buzzer to decide this one. Hatton with 30 points with the ball. Bethel against him. Got clock down to 10. They're clearing aside. It's going to let Hatton. Hatton takes it in and lays it down and gives the Red Storm a 3-point lead, 73-70.
Georgetown doesn't need a 3, but they need a score.
And the courageous sophomore, Drew Hall, takes it upon himself to drive hard to the basket. Can't get it to go, but he will go to the line to shoot, too, where he's a 90% plus free throw shooter.
But he hasn't shot many. He's only 9 for 10 coming in here. Hatton, unbelievable, like an eel in that lane. Always with the soft touch at the end. No matter how hard he's coming, how high he's jumping, it comes off smooth.
The matchup of the two stars, Sweetney with 21 points, but Hatton with 32. 14 of 25 from the field. And the sure shot, Drew Hall. Over 91% for the season from the free throw line, but as the ball is inbound with 24 seconds left, Georgetown has to foul.
That's good coaching. You make sure the guy you want at the line is the first priority on that inbounds pass. If you're not organized, it can go to somebody that you don't want with your destiny in their hands. And that time, St. John's quickly had their first priority to put it in the hands of the franchise, Marcus Hatton. He is, I would say, only shooting 73%, but this is the guy you want on the line.
Well, Marcus Hatton, Bucky, has scored the last 12 points for St. John's in this dramatic comeback. And now he's at the line. Knocks it down. A 2-point advantage for the Red Storm. 24 seconds left to play in regulation. We might not be done after 40 minutes.
Time and a half for overtime.
Last time I was here, it went 4 overtimes when Notre Dame and Georgetown played.
I like doing games with you. We get lots of action.
It looked like it was going to be an easy win for the Hoyas, and now they're in deep trouble, down 75-72, and the pressure continues by the St. John's defenders.
They don't need to force for 3, but then, it's over. It's over.
Ingram comes up with the ball, and he's fouled. And the Georgetown partisans not happy. But in New York, huge following of the Red Storm has to be in celebration. What a comeback win for St. John's.
Drew Hall didn't really get it stripped. He just kind of dribbled it off his foot. But just tough spot for a freshman. A guy who hasn't played much, has been remarkable off the bench, but a very tough spot to have the ball in his hands at that point.
Bucky, I can envision Louis Carnesecca leaping up and down in his living room watching this. A man who coached 526 wins for the Red Storm.
And Mary's probably saying, Louis, just relax, Louis. You can't help up from here. Your sweater is unraveling, Louis.
Ingram goes to the free throw line. Still 15 seconds left to play. These free throws very big. Elijah Ingram is a 57% free throw shooter. So he's no sure thing at the line. Shoots over 40% threes. But Craig Esherick, what a turn of events for his team in this game. Tied at the half, 35 all. Then on a dramatic run, Georgetown absolutely took over the game, leading by 16. And now look at this. St. John's comes back with non-stop defensive pressure. Ingram has to tear him out.
Both teams in the double bonus.
I think you got to launch a 3 when if you're Georgetown coming down now.
No question. No question.
It's a 3-point lead for the Red Storm.
Two-possession game.
4-point lead.
Two-possession game now. They need a quick 3.
Brandon Bowman goes inside, puts it up, and it goes down. It'll be now they're calling a player control foul on Brandon Bowman and waving off the shot. So the 4-point lead for St. John's, and the Red Storm will inbound the ball. St. John's closing out this game with a 26-7 run.
Mike Jarvis just a few seconds away from extending his run over the Hoyas to 5 straight. A guy who coached 8 years here at GW. Oh my, yeah. That's the second time coming down the stretch that Brandon Bowman has lowered his head, gone to the hoop when it, and it hurt. It really hurt. You like your freshman to be assertive and aggressive. He will learn. Those were expensive mistakes.
And, Bucky, this 80th meeting between St. John's and Georgetown in basketball, certainly one of the most memorable for St. John's, with this unbelievable rally to come from 16 points behind in the second half, late in the second half, and take the lead.
And to bounce back after that disappointing loss to the Villanova Wildcats at home. They lost the home court advantage, but they came down here and picked one up on the road. Not easily done in the Big East.
Marcus Hatton was the guy who made it happen with 34 points. One stretch, he scored 13 points in a row in the comeback for St. John's. Now Drew Hall has to launch. No, he goes the other way. The ball is up. It is no good. And St. John's in really a remarkable comeback, has defeated Georgetown 77-72.
Now they got a week off to live with this one before they go to
Boy, they should be
Blacksburg,
celebrating.
Virginia.
Unbelievable. St. John's ending this game with a 27-7 run in the last 5 minutes. Spearheaded by Marcus Hatton, who scored 34 for the game. 5:16 left in this game. Georgetown led 65-50, and St. John's comes back to win 77-72 with that 27-7 run.
And that gives Marcus, as the coach likes to call him, 95 points over the last 3 games. An amazing player, a great leader.